how about this over in Toronto in Canada? You know, you thought it couldn't get any worse. You're being taxed for this, you're being taxed for that. Don't go to Toronto because they're going to tax you when it rains. I'm not joking. They're considering implementing a rain tax whereby they would assess how much flat concrete sort of space you had on your property, you know, non-porous space. So if you've got grass, you're okay. But if you've got masses of concrete or paving, etc., which the water can't pass through, the Mayor of Toronto argues that that water then has to flow into the sewerage system and it overflows the sewerage system, so you must pay for the terrible damage you have wrought upon the environment by laying down tiles and concrete and whatever else. How are they going to assess this? Like, they're literally saying, I don't know, so it rained 50 mil yesterday and you've got 5 square metres of concrete on your property, therefore you're going to have to pay for the runoff. But what if I've jigged it so that all the water runs into a certain part of my property and then drains into a rainwater tank so I can drink it? Does that mean that I then avoid having to pay the tax?
Well, apparently in Toronto, if you collect rainwater, you pay a fee for that. If you allow it to drain into the sewage system, you're now taxed on that.
Wait, so you have to pay in Toronto.
I read this today.
For the water that falls out of the sky and goes into your own water tank.
So it used to be a good day when it rained. Now, when the heavens open up, your wallet opens up as well and you pay through the nose.
That is obscene.
The council will have to fly drones over people's homes to measure your roofing spaces, your driveway, any other hard surfaces.
That is...
Yeah, and when we're talking about hard surfaces, that's what the proposal's talking about. Who doesn't have a roof? Who doesn't have a driveway? It's like, no, tax because the water can't seep into the ground.
The other part of this story, this isn't new. This was first proposed by the same council back in 2017. So this idea has been floating around.
Oh, they're coming back.
For 7 years.
They've circled back.
Yeah.
They have circled.
You know, by the way, you mentioned the fact that you've got to pay to collect the rainwater in Toronto. Going back, 10, 15 years now, there were Australian states looking at doing the same to farmers in terms of dams. Like, they were looking at surreptitious ways to tax farmers for collecting water in dams that had fallen out of the sky.
Right.
If you cannot collect the water that falls out of the sky onto your property without the government making you pay for it, it's tyranny.
It's a taxable offence.
Absolute tyranny.
It's a taxable offence.